I'm so happy. I'm so happy that the Nigerian Football Federation is finally getting rid of Coach Gernot Rhor. I watched the last couple games of the Nigerian Super Eagles. Our last two games. The Super Eagles played against Liberia last week, and last week that the Super Eagles also played against um I forgot what other team the Nigerian Super Eagles just played our last game. um, I forgot who we played against. I don't know. My memory's getting bad. Yeah, we just played Cape Verde. Last week we had two games pretty much back to back. Liberia, and the last game was against Cape Verde, and both games were pretty average. We definitely could have played way better. You know, we beat Liberia 2-0, but against Liberia, the Super Eagles didn't score any regular goals. Both of our two goals were against Liberia were penalty shots. So I mean, it's always good that you have a win. We beat Liberia 2-0, but I watched the game and Nigeria. We could have played way better against Liberia. Nigeria, the Super Eagles. The Nigerian Super Eagles have a lot of talent. You know, the team has a lot of individual talent, but soccer, football is still a team game. You can have the best players on the team, but if the talented players on the team aren't playing as a team, then you're gonna run into some problems. You know, um, yes, we have the Super Eagles have the individual talent to beat anyone, but it's how the coach utilizes that talent. That really matters. You feel me? And yeah, Gernot Roy, he needs to be fucking fired. Gernot Roy. He became the coach of the Nigerian Super Eagles back in the summer of 2016. So he's been the coach for now about 5 years. You know, and man, the Super Eagles, the Nigerian Football Federation, they pay Gernot Roy a whole lot of money. I think Gernot Roy, he gets paid like 60,000. I read, from a source from online that Gernot Roy gets paid by the Nigerian Football Federation like $60,000 every month. So Gernot Roy is making millions a year, man. $60,000 a month, man. For 12 months a year, man. Gernot Roy is making millions a year, by being coach for the Nigerian Super Eagles. Gernot Roy is making money. And man, he's making a lot of money. And I don't know if the Nigerian Football Federation ever paid money for a coach like how they're paying Gernot Roy. Gernot Roy probably has the best coaching contract, as far as money that the Nigerian Football Federation ever gave a coach. I'm not sure if the Nigerian Football Federation ever paid a coach as much as Gernot Rohr. Gernot Rohr he's racking in that dough. But the real question is like, does Gernot Roy even deserve all that money? I can understand that if Gernot Rhor was like this super exceptional coach who knows the game of football at an infinite level and brings forth the best tactics for the Super Eagles to play with. And man, if Gernot Rhor was the perfect coach, then I can understand the Nigerian Football Federation's reason behind paying him so much money. But man, Gernot Rhor, man, the last few games, the last couple of years, actually, man, he 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 hasn't been coaching so well. He hasn't been horrible, but man, dude is fucking average. Since he became coach, since Gernot Rhor became the Nigerian Super Eagles coach back in the summer of 2016, like, what has he really accomplished? Gernot Rhor hasn't accomplished much. We haven't won an African title under Rhor. You know, we played AFCON 2 times with Rhor, I believe, and we still haven't won one. We haven't won an AFCON African title. With Gernot Rhor. We haven't became champions of Africa. Under Gernot Rhor. We did pretty decently under Rhor in 2019. The Nigerian Super Eagles got third place under Gernot Rhor in 2019. In the AFCONs. But man, the Nigerian Super Eagles is third place really. Is third place really? Is third place really something to brag about for the biggest country in Africa? Nigeria is a powerhouse in African soccer. Nigeria is the biggest country in Africa. So them getting third place is nothing to write home about. The Nigerian Super Eagles are expected to be the best team in Africa. So like they either win the whole thing or it's seen as a failure. So in the 2018 World Cup, Gernot Rhor, he failed to get us past the first round. You know, he hasn't won an African title. Gernot Rhor hasn't won an African title for Nigeria. With the Afcons, and Gernot Rhor in the 2018 World Cup didn't take us past the second round. We got eliminated in the first round against Argentina back in the 2018 World Cup. So what has Roy really accomplished for Nigeria? Like, he hasn't really done shit as coach. And like Nigeria has and then the Nigerian Football Federation has been paying this guy millions and millions and millions of dollars, and he hasn't been producing anything. I mean, Nigeria, we lost to the fucking. In our last few games, we also played against the Nigerian Super Eagles. Also played against the Central African Republic, and we lost against the Central African Republic 1-0. I mean, the Central African Republic is a very small nation, and Nigeria has more talented players than the Central African Republic, as far as soccer. And we lost to the Central African Republic. You know, Nigeria is typically a better soccer nation than the Central African Republic, and so normally, you would think Nigeria would be too talented to lose against a team like the Central African Republic, but nah, they got one pin on us, and they beat us 1-0. So man, you'll never see a team like Morocco get beat by the Central African Republic. You'll never see a team like Algeria getting beat by the Central African Republic. You never hear about a France or a Spain getting beat by the Central African Republic. And these are big name nations that are just named. Nigeria has the talent to play on par with the biggest name nations in the world, like a France and Spain. And that's the level of soccer that I judge Nigeria to, because I know Nigeria has that individual talent to be with the best of the best in soccer in the world. So I judge the Super Eagles very harshly. And Nigeria should not be losing against a team like the Central African Republic. Nigeria should not be getting draws. Our last game was against Cape Verde, and the Super Eagles got a 1-1 draw against Cape Verde. I mean, we're supposed to be beating these type of teams, man. And the reason why we aren't playing at our potential is because our coach Gernot Rhor, and I'm glad to hear that potentially, it hasn't been official yet, but potentially the Nigerian Football Federation will be firing Gernot Rhor, and I'm so fucking happy. I've been saying he needs to be fired for the last couple of years, and we need to kick him out. I mean, Nigeria can play so much better. We have really individually, the Nigerian Super Eagles individually really probably has the best individual talent in the world. Or you know, like, we have some good ass individual players. We have Victor Osimhen. Victor Osimhen, and he scores a goal every time he plays. Every time Victor Osimhen laces up his shoes, laces up his cleats, and gets on that field for Nigeria, he scores at least one goal every time he plays. Like, Victor Osimhen is a fucking beast. Um, he plays for Napoli, I believe. Victor Osimhen plays for Napoli, and I believe that's the French league. Hopefully I'm right. I believe Napoli, the team Victor Osimhen plays for, is in the French league, and man, he be balling out. Man, he be getting them goals. He's one of the top players. And he's our starting striker, and he's very, man, he's the shit, man. He's like a world class striker. We have Alex Iwobi. He plays in the Premier League. Very talented. We have Wilfred Ndidi, one of the best defensive midfielders in the Premier League. So Nigeria, we also have Paul Anuacho, one of the best strikers in the Belgian league. Paul Onuachu last season, he like led the Belgian league in goals. you know. So yeah, the Super Eagles, Nigeria, we definitely have the individual talent. We just need to be coached correctly, you know. And Gernot Rhor, then we have Samuel Chukwueze, you know. Then we have a whole lot of talented players who are at that world class level. We have players who play for the Premier League. We have players who play for La Liga. We have players who play for the Belgian league. The German league. I mean, man, Nigeria, we definitely have the talent, and we definitely should be playing way better. And what's capping our potential, is our fucking coach Gernot Rhor. Gernot Rhor, he doesn't bring the best out of our players. He does not. Gernot Rhor, he doesn't play with any tactics. Whenever I watch the Nigerian Super Eagles play under him, especially within our last few games, it's like we play without a game plan. All of our players, I watched us play against Liberia. I watched us play against Cape Verde, our last two games, and the Nigerian Super Eagles, the players were just running around the field, without a game plan. We weren't really trying to attack and push the ball forward. We were passing the ball backwards more than we were passing the ball forward. The Nigerian Super Eagles, within the last few games, we had too many misplaced passes. We play very lackadaisically. We like Nigeria, we have so many athletic, physical, and fast players. We should definitely be attacking more. With our system of play under Gernot Rohr, we don't attack so much. You know, we're too we play the system that Gernot Rohr has us playing under is very reserved. It's too reserved for the talent level of our players. Our players should be constantly pushing the ball forward, passing the ball forward, and attacking, running fast, upbeat style of play. You know, that's the type of play that will maximize the talents of our players. I mean, we have young, fresh feet players who can run fast, score goals, and man, and our players are not being utilized correctly. I mean, we pass the ball too much. We pass the ball too much. The Super Eagles pass the ball way too much, and it's like useless passes. Instead of passing the ball back, we should be passing the ball forward. But Gernot Roy, he teaches our players to like just pass the ball backwards, side to side, without having any forward, meaningful ball movement. Ball movement that will push the ball forward and create an attack and have a potential goal. That's the style of play, that upbeat style, upbeat tempo that Nigeria should be playing with. But Gernot Roy, he has our players passing the ball backwards, side to side. Our attack isn't very evident. We don't really have a style of play. And when I watch the Nigerian Super Eagles, I just see a whole bunch of players running around the field, you know, without a game plan. It, yes, the Super Eagles need a new fucking coach, and I'm glad they're fucking finally gonna fire Gernot Rhor. you know, um, man, after the 2018 World Cup, after the 2018 World Cup, I've been saying that the Nigerian Football Federation needs to get rid of Gernot Rhor. Gernot Rhor made a whole lot of goofy ass mistakes in the 2018 World Cup. As the Nigerian Super Eagles coach, and to be honest, in my opinion, I think Gernot Rhor did those mistakes in the World Cup, 2018 World Cup, on purpose to fuck over the Nigerian Super Eagles. But that's my opinion. Dude was making late against Argentina. We played the Nigerian Super Eagles played Argentina in our last game of the World Cup. Our last game in the first round, our third game in the first round in the World Cup was against Argentina. And if we would have beat Argentina, then we would have moved to the second round in the World Cup. But in that game, Gernot Rhor, he benched a lot of our key players. Man, our coach Gernot Rhor in last World Cup benched our best playmaker, Alex Iwobi, for 2 games straight. He had no business benching Alex Iwobi for 2 games straight. Come on, man. This dude was obviously finessing us. That's why, man, African teams should get African coaches, because like soccer, international soccer, especially international soccer, has a very strong racial element. No European man wants to see the biggest African nation in the world, Nigeria, defeat his European nations at the World Cup. Soccer, that type of sport, is racist like that. Like no European soccer head wants to see Nigeria, the biggest black nation in the world, win the World Cup over the plethora of European nations. I mean, come on, man. And the mistakes Gernot Rhor was making was pretty evident that he was purposely fucking over the Nigerian Super Eagles. That's why African nations should not have white European coaches. A lot of these white European coaches are racist, and a lot of these European coaches have European pride. And none of these coaches that have European pride and they're from Europe but want to see a black nation win the World Cup over their white countries. Come on, man. Nigeria is the biggest African country, you know. Even though Nigeria is the biggest African country, Nigeria is like the biggest soccer country in Africa, and they don't even put Nigeria in the FIFA soccer video game. They don't put Nigeria in the FIFA soccer video game, the biggest African country. Come on, man. It's very evident that soccer, man, is a fucking racist sport, man. Against Argentina in our last game in the World Cup, in the 2018 World Cup, it was a do or die game. If Nigeria would have beat Argentina, we would have moved on to the next round. But our coach decided to bench all of our best players. And our coach went out of his way to make the last like two substitutions against Argentina in the last minute of the game. Dude waited like past the 90th minute mark to make the last two substitutions against Argentina. There's no way in hell that a coach can do that shit on accident and in a big stage game like that. Do or die World Cup game, make substitutions at the last minute. Come on, man. That cannot be done on accident. That shit was done on purpose. And it's time for Gernot Rhor to leave. We could be a so much better team. But Gernot Rhoor's style of play is too reserved. It's too lackluster. Too much passing. A team like Nigeria, you know, should be focused more on dribbling. Pass the ball too, but it should be focused more on dribbling and upbeat attacks, pushing the ball forward, and dribble the ball, mass attack. you know. A team like Nigeria, with our talent level and our style of play, it should be attack oriented, you know. And African coaches, African coaches know how to coach African players. African coaches know the African style of play. African coaches know the African style of soccer mentality. So who's better to coach Africans than an African coach? That's why we shouldn't be having these white European coaches. They don't know how to coach African football. African soccer is different from European soccer. It's just a different style of play. And our players have a different mentality than Europeans. And once you watch European soccer and you watch African soccer, you can notice that African soccer is just a tad bit different from European soccer. So, man, but all right, you guys, peace. And I'm hoping the Nigerian Super Eagles, make it to this fucking World Cup. I'm hoping we do, but I'm fucking happy that Gernot Rhor is possibly finally being fired. All right, y'all.